Hey, how's everyone's Wednesday doing? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. Today, we're going to be recapping last night's games. We just seen a very interesting article from The Athletic on anonymous agents with their poll with how's every team being run. We're talking about Seth Jones, Taylor Hall, Russia being back in the Olympics, Ovechkin getting closer to Wayne Gretzky's record, awards odds, Scotty Mayfield, the Shen brothers, Eric Carlson, and another Mika Rantanen situation. All right. First up, let's talk about the last night's games. Oh, yeah, what an entertainment game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. 5-4 overtime. Mitch Marner, he loves playing against Boston. He's been very clutch and crucial lately. He's been unbelievable and unreal. He's been an impressive, commodity. He's going to be a high profile UFA at the end of the season. And if I were any team in the NHL right now, I would do anything possible to get him signed to a insane amount of money, insane contract. And let's just put it this way. This guy is worth the admission. I mean, Toronto's got to open up their cap and let's see what they do at the trade deadline. Honestly, Mitch Marner has got to stay in Toronto. That's just me saying. He's got a great combination, a great thing going with Johnny Tavares, who needs a contract as well, Austin Matthews, and William Nylander. And yeah, we're seeing a guy who's definitely deserves a major payday. There's a reason why he is number one as a unrestricted free agent this offseason. He's a hot commodity. Every team wants him. Every team, Chicago would want him. And don't forget, Utah wants him. Every team in the NHL is looking for him. I mean, Boston Bruins, they had a good game, but they didn't protect that lead. I mean, Morgan Geekie is one of the most underrated players in the NHL. Very sneaky. Pasta did his thing. But, and you know what? Speaking of that game, you know, at least I was watching the game. If I was in Canada, I'd be like, yeah, watch the game on TSN. That was great. But watching on NESN for the Bruins, though, it cut through commercial midway. And there was a goal on the play, and they just cut it right to a Chipotle commercial. What the hell? Anyone in the control room is going to get fired. I missed a goal just for a freaking Chipotle ad. Ugh. I mean, just 5 seconds of a Chipotle ad, and I missed a game crucial goal. I mean, what the hell? I missed a goal. I missed a goal just because. Oh, Chipotle. Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I need, Chipotle. And I missed a nice highlight reel goal right on the dot. One timer. What the hell were you thinking, Nesson? What the hell were you thinking? Yeah, and I'll say this: frustrating game. At least Boston got the point. Toronto, they maintain the lead in the Atlantic Division. So next game we go to Anaheim against Buffalo. Anaheim 2-0 lead. Buffalo storms right back. No surprise right there. Yeah, let's just say this: the young guys have been playing well, but the Sabres, though, they played an unpredictable game. I mean, three straight goals in the third period. Yeah, three straight goals in the third period. Anaheim blew a two-goal lead, and the Sabres won. Very valuable points right there. Very valuable. Yeah, and now we got Carolina Hurricanes against Montreal Canadiens. Montreal shutout. And I would say that Yaroslav Laine, Suzuki, and Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson, though, I'd say this. He is a commodity. He's in the mix for the rookie of the year. He played a spectacular game. Sam Montembeault, hell of a game right there. And Carolina, they're struggling. And we'll be getting to that point right there. And what are they going to do at the trade deadline? That is going to be a situation we'll get down to the next topic. All right, next game we go. Pittsburgh Penguins against the Philadelphia Flyers, the Battle of Pennsylvania. No surprise here. Philadelphia obliterated 6-1. And the Flyers, they're gaining ground, but Pittsburgh, they're slumping. And I got to say this to everybody. Dynasties and winning the Stanley Cup and any championship in sports has their consequences. Teams go through a retool, a rebuild, tear down, like after, like everybody ages out, phases out. I mean, yeah, the Penguins are in that phase right now, and they have a lot to answer the bell about what are they going to do at the trade deadline. Yeah, Calgary Flames against the Washington Capitals. What a game by Calgary. Calgary's in the playoff mix now. Calgary has got that final wild card spot. Very valuable points right there. And Huberdeau, Johnny Huberdeau, he's bounced back nicely. 22 goals so far this season. And I got to say, he's been a very valuable piece to the Calgary Flames. This trade's actually working out for once. All right, now. And then speaking of this game, Alexander Ovechkin does it again. He is got 883 goals. He's 12 away of breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. And he's got another 30 goal season on the power play and his home spot. Bam. I mean, Ovi is 12 away. I mean, unbelievable. This guy is this close. I mean, didn't this guy break his leg and he missed some significant time? And he's still on pace to break Wayne Gretzky's all time record. And now let's get to the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Dallas Stars. Columbus, they're gaining traction. This has been a big surprise in the NHL. Everybody picked them to be dead last in the NHL. And losing Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey, it's still tragic, still sad in Columbus, but they are playing for Johnny Hockey. They are in the final wild card spot, winning 6-4. Kirill Marchenko, he is one of the most underrated players in the NHL with the best plus minus in the NHL. That man is unbelievable. Just unbelievable. The Blue Jackets got a lot of good pieces, but if I were them, I would keep most of those guys like Ivan Provorov on that roster in the trade deadline. I would definitely keep, you know, all these players who are on the trade block for the Columbus Blue Jackets. This team is very goddamn good. You know, keep Ivan Provorov, keep your stacked, talented team. The Blue Jackets are in the mix, and I can't wait for this Saturday's game against the Detroit Red Wings at the Horseshoe at Ohio State and Ohio State University. And we go from the Western Conference champs of the Edmonton Oilers against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Leon Draisaitl, no surprise, he gets his 43rd. McDavid, 51st assist. I mean, you know, it's no surprise, but Tampa Bay, 4 straight goals. Tampa Bay Lightning, they're still in the mix. They're third place in the Atlantic. And that Atlantic division is so close. I mean, it's like tight to the grip. And I got to say, it's going to come down to the wire, whoever wins that division, though. And Tampa Bay, everybody wrote them off. Their dynasty days are over, but they reloaded. They are still relevant right now. And Kucherov, he's almost going to be 75, 80 assists this year alone. This team is not going away anytime soon. All right, and then we had the battle of Long Island and Manhattan, the Islanders and the Rangers at UBS. Islanders, they are on the verge, like earlier this month, they were back in it. That team is like the New York Stock Exchange. It goes up and down, and they are not in it anymore. I mean, it's damn sad. I mean, the Isles have a lot to get fixing at the deadline. With Kyle Palmieri, you've got Scotty Mayfield, and you've got Brock Nelson to figure out what are you going to do with those guys. But they outshot the Rangers double, but then the Rangers still won the game. Yeah. And also the New York Rangers are trying to be relevant and trying to be back in the playoffs. Don't forget, last year they were the presidential winners of the NHL with the best record in the NHL, and they have fallen on very hard times. And I'll get to those hard times in one of my other short segment videos. All right, and then we've got the St. Louis Blues putting a pound in on the Kraken 7-2. Seattle Kraken, they've got some pieces for sale. And also, the St. Louis Blues also are in a crossroads of what are they going to do at the trade deadline. Yeah, this team has got some pieces, but listen, this team has got a lot of problems. And if I were the Seattle Kraken, I would get some assets. I mean, they made the playoffs their second year and went to the second round, but I mean, the Seattle Kraken, though, they need to reload. And you've got some expiring contracts. I wouldn't trade Jared McCann. I wouldn't do all that stuff, but yeah, they're still a young team. There's still a lot of fundamentals to fix and retooling on there. And the Blues, though, they still have work to do behind the scenes, and they got some trade pieces, but we'll get to that part later. And no surprise here, the Florida Panthers dominated against the Nashville Predators 4-1. Sam Bennett, Gordie Howe hat trick, unbelievable, 20 goals of the season. And it's unbelievable. And then I say it's Justin Sordif, first goal in the NHL. Congratulations. And I say this Nashville, they were supposed to be a heavy favorite in the Western Conference. That was last year, that playoff run, and that second half run, that was unbelievable. But I got to say, it was overhyped. It was just something about, exceeding expectations, and they were overhyped. And, Luke Shin after the game saying that, the team can't score, blah, blah, blah. They spent all this money, but I gotta say, and Luke Shin, I'll be mentioning this later in the episode. He is on the trade block as well. And now we get to the favorite Midwest rivalry, old school rivalry, Minnesota Wild, Detroit Red Wings in Minneapolis, St. Paul, at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. And the Minnesota Wild 2-0 lead. Red Wings 3 straight. No surprise, the Red Wings win this one 3-2. This team has been playing on fire ever since Tom McClellan has taken over as the coach of the Detroit Red Wings. And I got to tell you, Simon Edvinsson, this man is like going to be, second coming of Nick Lindstrom, Victor Hedman. This man is unbelievable. You got and Steve Yzerman, give credit to him and his scouting team finding these players, and this one is a gem and diamond in the rough. And now let's get to the last game of the night. We got the Chicago Blackhawks and the Utah Hockey Club. Seth Jones gets his power play goal, 7th of the season, and we'll get to his frustration of the Blackhawks since day one, first game of the season, and Utah Hockey Club. What a game for them. Clayton Keller, Lawson Krause got those two goals right there, and what a game right there. But now let's get to the next topic of the day. We're talking about the Athletics, annual 19 player agents with their polls of who is doing things right and wrong. All right. First off, the question is, what is the best run franchise in the NHL? So according to the votes, the Tampa Bay Lightning, number 1, 8. And there was a tied second place between the Florida Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights with 5. And the others voted Dallas Stars, Winnipeg Jets, Minnesota Wild, New York Islanders, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then the next one, what is the best front office to deal with? And it's a tie. First place with the Minnesota Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Third is the Dallas Stars. And then the others voted Florida Panthers, Colorado Avalanche, Detroit Red Wings, the New York Islanders, Philadelphia Flyers, and the Vancouver Canucks. Very surprising to hear that Vancouver Canucks in this. Very surprising indeed. And the next question, what is the most poorly run, unstable franchise? Well, it's no surprise here, the Buffalo Sabres with 6, the Anaheim Ducks with 5, and there was a tie with the Chicago Blackhawks, San Jose Sharks. Then you got Carolina Hurricanes, Detroit Red Wings, and the New York Islanders. It's pretty bizarre how the Detroit Red Wings have the best front office to deal with, like in the top 10, and they are a poorly ran, unstable franchise. I mean, it's wild. And seeing the New York Islanders on that list as well. It's wild to see that. And then what is the most difficult front office? Well, it's no surprise, Anaheim Ducks at first place with 8. And then you have a tie with the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders with 4. Then you've got the Boston Bruins, the Nashville Predators, and the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, it's tough to deal with the Ducks. They are in this weird building phase. I mean, don't forget last year in the offseason, they were heavy favorites to get Stamkos, Brady Shea, and Jonathan March. So they were heavy favorites to build, but somehow it didn't go through, it didn't go their way. So yeah. And then who is the best owner in the NHL? No surprise, the cross-state rival on the other side of the state of Florida, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then you got a tie between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers and the Toronto Maple Leafs, three-way tie for second. I'll tell you, those no income states, in the top three, it's no surprise. And you got a heavy corporation with the Maple Leafs and all. But I mean, they both Florida teams and Vegas, I mean, they're doing a lot of things right in the Sun Belt markets. Who's got the worst owner in the NHL? Well, the Carolina Hurricanes overwhelmingly have the worst ownership. Then you got a tie then you got the Buffalo Sabres, then you've got the Vancouver Canucks and the Anaheim Ducks. Pretty interesting to see that list. And the question of the next one is, this is going to be a very important question of the Edmonton Oilers on Connor McDavid's next contract. What his next deal should be? 20% of the cap, 15 to 17 million dollars, 15 million. Then you've got 18 million and 20 million. I mean, 20%. I mean, that is a very bold move. I mean, I remember when Alex Ovechkin got that 13-year contract, that was worth it. When Rick DiPietro got the contract, should have never gotten the contract because he didn't deserve it. He didn't have the credentials. I mean, he had one good year and, he didn't prove himself. He should have got another bridge deal, but no, you had to sign him to an insane contract and then you ended up with broken glass. I mean, no, thank you. But I mean, that's very tempting. 20% of the cap for Connor McDavid. I mean, wow. I mean, I get it, but if I were I don't think you're going to win a Stanley Cup in Canada anytime soon. But if I were an American team, I would unload my cap, get McDavid, and then restructure everything else. I mean, that's how you're going to get a Stanley Cup for Connor McDavid and cement his legacy right there. And then the next question is, do you believe the NHL should expand? 95% overwhelmingly said yes. I mean, just wow, overwhelmingly. And then they said, okay, which market should add an NHL team? Okay, you've got Houston coming first, Phoenix a return, Atlanta coming third with another return, a second team in Toronto, then you've got Kansas City, Portland, and Quebec City. I mean, yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly jobs, opportunities. I mean, yeah, I'm all for it, but I mean, that's a very tall glass of water to drink right there. I mean, you got a CBA deal to fix up for next year. Like after the 25-26 season, you got to fix it up. And then now, the last question. This is going to be controversial. Are you in favor of adding a play-in for the playoffs? Like the NBA has done it. All right, so you've got a 53% saying yes, 47% saying no. I mean, yes and no on this one, but I'm going to side with no because, I have a better idea of the teams that don't make the playoffs. Instead of doing a lottery, ping pong ball, I think they should do like a March Madness type of tournament or NCAA hockey tournament type of thing. Do a single game elimination for the teams that don't make the playoffs to get the number one draft pick. Play in a neutral site or anywhere. I mean, that would make the game very unique right there. But I don't know. What do you think, guys? What do you think about the idea of having instead of a ping pong ball lotto, a single game elimination would make things more unique and interesting. All right. Now let's get to the players of the topics of the day. We got Zach Jones. Okay, Zach Jones last night, like I said, he is not happy with the Chicago Blackhawks' progress. I mean, why in the hell did he get to this team in the first place? I mean, his statistics have been declining ever since he arrived. I mean, both teams, the Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks, they've had to trade in the past, with Breadman and all that stuff and Brandon Saad, and those trades didn't work out. But I gotta say, looking at the numbers right here, Zach Jones' first year in Chicago after signing that massive contract extension for $9.5 million. First year, 5 goals, 46 assists, 51 points. The next season, 12 goals, 25 assists, 37 points. Last year, 8 goals, 23 assists, 31 points. This year, 7 goals, 20 assists, 27 points. I mean, this guy's stock is regressing like crazy. If I were Chicago, I got to get something good in return. I mean, if I were Chicago Blackhawks, I don't know about Florida. Florida can't afford that salary, that chunk, and all that stuff. I got a feeling Dallas Stars could use a defenseman. And hell, he's local, homegrown. And I gotta say, Zach Jones would be a Dallas Star if I were the GM. So I can get Maverick Bork and a few others. I mean, Maverick Bork is someone that I could look up upon. This guy's got talent, and he is definitely a superstar in the making. And let's get to the next topic, Taylor Hall. All right, Taylor Hall, ladies and gentlemen, former number one overall pick by the Edmonton Oilers, currently with the Carolina Hurricanes. He got was part of that trade, that with the Mika Rantanen and all that earlier this month. And I gotta say, so far it's been underwhelming. 8 games with an assist, but he's gotten 25 points for the season so far. Former Hart Trophy winner, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen. And he's in talks with the Carolina Hurricanes of getting a contract extension. So basically, that's a plan B since that Mikko Rantanen is not happy about playing in a mid to small market. And that would be, and if they can't sign him, this is a plan B. We're seeing that Taylor Hall is definitely going to re-sign with the Carolina Hurricanes. And since Mikko Rantanen is willing to get a big payday or a discount, but he's going to sign elsewhere. So Taylor Hall is going to be a Carolina Hurricane for the next 3 to 5 years. And Mikko Rantanen is going to go to another team by next Friday. All right. Next team we want to talk about. Let's put it this way. We have a great developing story that Russia is definitely immediately going to be playing in next year's Olympics in Milan, Italy. And Russia and Belarus are going to be in there. And this is exciting because we haven't seen the NHL with Russian players since 2014 in Sochi. And they won the Olympics back in 2018 with the gold medal with a lot of the KHL players. But I'm just curious, what is it going to be like for Russia being back in the Olympics in the spotlight and all the controversy throughout the years? All right, now speaking of Russia, Alex Ovechkin, 883. He's got 12 to go to break Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. I mean, it's unreal. I got a feeling it's going to happen in the next few weeks. Ovechkin is a workhorse. A broken leg will heal, but he is invincible. He's a workhorse. He is definitely going to be breaking this record. And I don't think he's going to retire just yet. And I got a feeling he wants to get to 1,000 so nobody else will break that record. Yeah, I got to say, very impressive resume. Very impressive resume indeed for the grade 8 Alex Ovechkin. Now let's get to the odds. So we are seeing in the sports betting world, we've got a very unique deal with the top 10 Hart Trophy favorites, Vezina, etc. All right. So the most valuable player that's favorite right now is Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers. Then you've got Connor Hellebuyck, goaltender of the Winnipeg Jets. He's been spectacular, by the way. And you've got Nathan McKinnon, Colorado Avalanche, Nikita Kucherov, Connor McDavid, Quinn Hughes. You got Zach Werenski, Kel McCarr, Jack Eichel, and David Pastrnak. Pretty damn good list. I really like that list. I mean, it's going to come down to the wire. This is exciting. This is anticipating here, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is got a lot of commodity right there. It's got a lot right there. And the top 10 Norris Trophy winner odds. All right, so we got the top 10 right here. The odds are Cal McCarr at 1. You got Quentin Hughes 2, Zach Rensky at 3, Ramos Dolin 4, Josh Morrissey 5, Shea Theodore 6, Jacob Checker at 7, Charlie McAvoy 8, Evan Bouchard at 9, Noah Dobson at 10. I mean, wow, that is a very, very interesting list. I mean, curious about Noah Dobson being on that list in the top 10. Him, McAvoy, and Bouchard. I mean, Bouchard's been struggling a little bit this year, but he's still very valuable on getting those primary assists on the power play. Yeah, and now you got the Rocket Richard odds. You've got Leon Draisaitl at 1. You got William Nylander at 2. Mark Scheifele at 3. Sam Reinhart at 4. Kyle Connor at 5. Braden Point at 6. David Pastrnak at 7. Tage Thompson 8. Ovechkin 9. And Mika Rantanen at 10. Oh, man. This list is unique and fascinating. And then we got the Rookie of the Year top 10 Calder Trophy odds. All right, you've got Macklin Celebrini, the favorite from the San Jose Sharks. You've got Lane Hudson, Montreal Canadiens. Then you got Dustin Wolf at 3rd, goaltender for the Calgary Flames. Maida Michkov for the Philadelphia Flyers is at 4. Logan Stankoven at 5. Then you got Jacob Dubes, goaltender of the Montreal Canadiens at 6. Yaroslav Askarov at 7. Carter Gauthier at 8. Will Smith at 9. And Jackson Blake at 10. Interesting list, all right? Interesting list. You got a tie between 7 and 10. Oh, yeah. And you get the Vezina Trophy Finals. No surprise here. Connor Hellebuyck, there's a reason why he is second at the Hart Trophy. Most valuable player. This man is the reason why the Winnipeg Jets are number 1 in the league. This man is responsible. He was a day away of going to another market. I mean, this man was a 5th-round draft pick. Only one school offered him a college opportunity, and he played in the North American League. This man right here is special. And you got Logan Thompson at 2, Mackenzie Blackwood at 3, Philip Gustafson at 4, Andrei Vasilevsky at 5, Linus Ullmark 6, Jake Ottinger 7, Lucas Dostal at 8, Joey Decord at 9, and Igor Shesterkin at 10. And then you got the Jack Adams Coach of the Year Award. Spencer Carberry, he has done a tremendous job for the Washington Capitals. First year on the job, unbelievable, top team in the Eastern Conference and in the NHL. This man is responsible at maintaining and making this team relevant still and, keeping things with the Washington Capitals. Everybody thought the Washington Capitals days were numbered and they were going to be ending a dynasty. Yeah, those days are numbered, but I mean, we got some very unique names right here. Then you got Dean Evason of the Columbus Blue Jackets. This man is single-handedly resurrected this team, and this is the best coach of the Blue Jackets they've had since John Tortorella, and he is made sure that this Blue Jacket squad is in the playoffs right now. Then you got Scotty Arniel, Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets have been spectacular. Then you got John Hines, Minnesota. He's done a spectacular job. Marty St. Louis, he's done a tremendous job with the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, they've been in and out, in and out, in and out, but he is still learning the ropes of being a coach. And he was a hell of a hockey player back in the day, Hart Trophy winner, you name it, blah, blah, blah. Then you got Jim Hiller. Then you've got, Tom McLaughlin. Tom McLaughlin, to me, I got to say, his stock should be on the rise. I think he should be second or third on that list. Tom McLaughlin has done an amazing turnaround for the Detroit Red Wings. Look at the numbers. Look how he's doing everything ever since he has stepped in the ring. Then you got Travis Green, Sheldon Keefe, and Bruce Cassidy. Yeah, very unique list right here. And I got to say, we are entertained. All right, now, we've got a unique thing right here. Next up, we got to talk about a defenseman, Scotty Mayfield, New York Islanders. Scotty Mayfield, I got to say, got a big payday several seasons ago. He got a unique 7-year, $24.5 million contract. He's going to be a healthy scratch. And don't forget, last year, he was sidelined with an injury, and I got to say, he's a shutdown guy. He's been in the Islanders system since 2011, and he's been playing full-time with the Isles since 2016-17. And let's just say here, guys, the guy I believe it could be a fresh start and all, but, I don't know why they want to bench this guy. He's got a plus 13. It's a very underrated number. and he's a shutdown, reliable defenseman. I mean, keep the guy. Keep the guy. I mean, it's he's got a good cap hit though, but him. Keep him. If I were you, New York Islanders, he's got one of the best plus minuses on the team. Yeah, keep him. All right. Now you've got Braden Shen and Luke Shen, the Shen brothers. Can you imagine if you got Luke and Braden together as a package deal, three-way deal? And I gotta say, Luke and Braden, they're both winners. They both won Stanley Cups. Braden with the Blues and then Luke with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I gotta say this, Luke and Braden are that brotherly combo. I mean, it's got to be a poor man's Brady and Matthew Kachuk, but Luke's still got that deadly shot. He's physical, strong. I mean, he had his ups and downs in the late and from the 2018-19, and he's back full time. Both brothers are 1,000 games. You got to congratulate them. You got to give them a lot of credit though. But listen here, both brothers, very valuable piece. I think they can definitely make a lot of difference, for a certain team. Get those two brothers, you get that depth role, you've got a good situation right here for, for the rest of the season. Yeah. And I'd say this, he's got, $8.25 million contract. And I would say, if you can get him and Braden with a good contract, if you get those two brothers with a good contract, a good balanced contract, if you balance the deal, I gotta say you get a good, combination. But let's just see what happens if you get both brothers playing together. And now you got the last topic of the day, Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson, let's just say this, he is had like a hell of a career so far for, he's been with Ottawa, he's been with San Jose, and he's currently with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, don't forget, this man got 102 points, 101, I should say, a couple seasons ago. And, his numbers are really darn good. Very impressive. I've heard the rumor, bad locker room guy and all that stuff in Ottawa. But I gotta be saying, like, if it's really worth it, that contract is not fun. I'm looking at that contract he's got. It's not a contract I would, he's got a $10 million cap hit. And it's not a fun contract to deal with. He's one of the highest paid players in the league. And is it really worth it? And I've been hearing Dallas, I've been hearing Florida, I've been hearing Detroit, I've been hearing some teams, but I gotta be saying, yeah, I mean, you know, the Penguins really got themselves in a pickle, and I don't know if Pittsburgh can get a deal with Florida, maybe Dallas, or maybe, and I don't know about Detroit though. I mean, let's just see if they can get some future considerations and some underwhelming prospects, or get anyone that needs scenery change or dumping salary. Yeah, I mean, let's just see what happens there, guys. Let's just see what happens. All right, this has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. We'll be back here tomorrow with a new episode. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.